What is up, Mets fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Mets'd podcast. Just wrapped up a series against the Washington Nationals. Ended well, didn't start well, started poorly. You see, we're here at the Mets Auditorium, I think this is technically called. A little Mets after dark, a little Mets at night. That means we can curse. So, yeah, okay, we got it out. We're good. We're ready to roll now. Start talking about some baseball. Like we said, the series didn't start great. Ended on a good note, though, so that's good. We'll go through all the games as we always do. If you guys are enjoying what you're listening to, you like what you see here, make sure you follow us on all our social media at Mets'd on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. If you're looking for the YouTube version, go to the New York Mets YouTube channel. Go subscribe over there. You can watch the video of this. And if you like what you're listening to, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Odyssey, drop us a rating, drop us a review, download, and subscribe. We also have a very, very funny review to read at the end of the episode. I'm sure you know who you are if you left it. A lot. He wrote down all the nicknames of John that we've given him throughout the podcast. There are quite a few, some that I even forgot about. So I can't wait to go through that at the end. But let's just go ahead and rip into it. Game one, not great.
No, really bad. This kind of just felt like a team that just came back off a 10-day road trip.
You know what? And they were a team that did just come back off a 10-game road trip. And they were talking about it on air a lot, too, that I think the Mets got in at like 6 a.m. The day that they had off. They did have an off day, but got in at 6 a.m. And that's like a very, very weird time. I'm sure Vito can also relate a little bit, too, because Vito was coming in from Hawaii. You were coming from LA. Yeah. So that time difference, does it hit you?
It hit me a little bit personally. And like 3 hours isn't a crazy time difference, but even waking up on Thursday morning, I still felt like I don't feel like I would wake up at a normal time yet.
Yeah, the boys were out late too last night.
Yeah, but I mean, big Knicks win.
Big Knicks win. Oh, what a weekend. What a week for the Knicks.
Yeah, the Knicks were the only New York team who had playoff games this week too, so we're good.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about the other ones by any means. Yeah. But yeah, so this game, it didn't start off well. Josiah Gray, New York kid, made him look like a superstar. I mean, he was a top prospect at one point in the Dodgers organization, but had struggled and had been giving up nukes left and right. Did not do it in game one.
Josiah Gray was a fun prospect coming up because he was a shortstop who converted himself to a pitcher. I think either draft or lower minors. Yeah, so it felt like that. And then all of a sudden, he gained like 3 or 4 ticks on his fastball, and Dodgers like, oh my God, we have something here. And he originally was in the trade that sent Max Scherzer and Trey Turner to Los Angeles in 2021. But he has really kind of been not that great for the first couple of years of his career, especially his fastball has been very hittable. And in this game, we just kind of made him look like a superstar. Mets whiffed 20 times on Tuesday night. That's the second most whiffs Josiah Gray's ever gotten in a single game in his career. His slider looked completely unhittable, and his fastball was making us miss left and right, and usually that's a pitch that gets crushed.
Yeah, no, I mean, the bats were not swinging it very well, especially the first 2 games of the series. We know they didn't really show up, but Josiah Gray was definitely pitching well. On our side of the mound, Jose Butto getting the spot start because of all the injuries and the suspensions and whatnot going on. So Jose Butto comes back up, makes the second start. Not as successful as the first one.
No, and we've talked about this with Butto, like between last year and then let's start last week and a half or whatever. He has the makings of someone who could be a useful major league pitcher, but he doesn't really have an out pitch. So it gets very hard for him to get guys out. He kind of needs to have perfect command to really have an effective outing, because he has a fastball, it's kind of just fine. It flows between like 93 and 95 miles an hour, and then changeup, that's good, but then it's just that. And he had a cutter he was using last time. This time was classified as a slider on Baseball Savant. Maybe there's got a little more movement, and he threw a couple curveballs, which is something new for him too. So he's definitely trying to use some off-speed pitches, some breaking balls, doing that. But it just, again, it wasn't really working. He has to live in the shadows to really get guys out. He wasn't able to live in the shadows this game. After he turned the lineup over once, he walked 5 of the next 15 batters he faced until he left the game after the Nationals batted through one time around. Not very good. Nationals only chased 11% of Jose Butto pitches that were out of the strike zone too, and they have a 30% chase rate on the season, which is the 7th worst in all of baseball.
Okay, yeah.
So it was just very clear that the stuff that Butto was throwing wasn't really enticing them the way other pitchers might.
Yeah, and watching the game at home, like you said, like all the stuff that you just kind of explained, you could kind of see as well watching it at home, or if you were at the stadium. You couldn't get the outs when they were necessary, worked long at bats, ended up getting on base. And I mean, all things considered, though, he did only give up 2 runs.
For sure. A lot of it was nibbling because he wanted to hit an edge, but the Nationals weren't chasing it, and they were taking walks. But he only gave up 5 hard hit balls and limited the damage to 2 runs. The Mets are very much in this game while Jose Butto wasn't, which was cool. It's just like it's a really tight rope for Jose Butto to walk when he throws his fastball 60% of the time, and no one swinging and missing. I think he got either 1 whiff or 0, and Nationals made contact with it 80% of the time. The pitch was in the strike zone.
Yeah, I mean, it just straight up wasn't a very good game for the Mets. They ended up losing this one 5-0. Like we said, the bats really didn't show up. Only 5 hits in the game against the Nationals. Pitching, again, Josiah Gray did pitch really well, but you talk about their bullpen. Mason Thompson, we saw in game 3, and we got to, which was very, very nice. He had another outing, giving them 3 out of the pen, getting the old-fashioned save there with the 3 innings.
Yeah.
But, you wanted to see the team swing the bat a little bit better. There wasn't really a whole lot great to take out of this one, and I don't really feel like talking much more about it.
No, it got out of hand, and we don't really have to explain that.
No, you guys watched it. You saw what happened.
We want to
there.
relive it.
Especially because we have to talk about game 2 now.
Yeah.
Which,
this was the second day in a row we made the young, kind of disappointing-ish pitcher of the Nationals look ridiculously good.
but we also knew that there was a world where Mackenzie Gore could do this. He felt like the guy that could do this kind of stuff.
And Mackenzie Gore was coming off last week one of the best starts of his entire career.
Yeah.
And now we get him on Wednesday, and this was the third time in his career he struck out 10. The Mets whiffed 19 times, which was a career high for Gore, but this was the second straight start where he set a career high. He had 17 whiffs last week. So it seems like Mackenzie Gore could be turning a bit of a corner here. He was throwing that curveball, and it was just getting great movement, and guys are swinging through it left and right. But he also had 12 whiffs on his fastball in this game.
Wow.
Mackenzie Gore's fastball, similar to Josiah Gray, has not been as, I don't want to say as advertised, because it's, I don't know, it still looks good, but it hasn't been a pitch that's been a useful pitch from the major leagues. But 12 whiffs on it, that was a career best, along with his whiffs in total. Like I said before, we only had 3 hard hit balls off him. We really couldn't do anything against Mackenzie Gore.
No, definitely the offense seemed off again, a little bit funky, a little bit just something wasn't right, and it showed in the outcome as well. We only scored 1 run in the 2 games against the Nationals, which maybe we didn't give the Nationals enough credit. Is that it? I don't know.
Maybe a little bit, just for these pitchers having a bit more of a top end than we gave them credit for, and then the fact that they did give them length, so they were able to use their best relievers that aren't really bad relievers. We kind of chastised the back of the Nationals bullpen. We kind of assumed we get to them at some point in the series, and that didn't happen. So shame on us.
Yeah. What was the guy's name?
Thaddeus Ward.
Yeah, Thaddeus Ward.
And
I saw him warming up.
And Hobie Miller.
And we were sitting in the booth, and I was like, who's Ward? You're like, I told you Thaddeus Ward. I'm like, I completely forgot that guy existed. He was out of my brain.
Yeah, and the other thing to talk about from Wednesday's game is Kodai Senga. Kind of a lot of things we talked about during his last 2 starts. Those concerns kind of rearing their ugly head once again. The leadoff man reached base in 4 of the 5 innings that Senga pitched, and 3 of those were leadoff walks, which you just hate to throw a leadoff walk as a pitcher. And to do it, and it was 3 of the first 4 innings start the game was just, it was a lot for him to work through. You could really see that the adversity was adding up and adding up.
I remember, like, in the past, they always talked about, like, it was like a new term, I feel like, in the early 2010s of, like, stress pitches.
Yeah.
And, like, when guys are on base, how those pitches, even though, like, it is in theory, like, still just one pitch, they do end up mattering more, like, to a pitcher and how they feel during the game or whatnot because of the stress that is added. And he was in a lot of stressful situations early in this game.
Yeah, and this was his 3rd straight start where he walked 4 batters. He's walked multiple batters in every start he's made this year, which is a bit concerning. But the other part of that, which was weird to me, while this was tied for the most walks he's had in the game so far, this was the highest swing percentage against Senga in a start all year. But the Nationals were also very, very aware of when to take. So they were taking the ones that they should have been taking and swinging when they should have been swinging. Kind of like what I explained last episode about how there's a bit of a dance with Kodai Senga, a bit of a cadence that the league seems to really start to be getting the hang of against him.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this when we brought up Senga early in the season. We're like, hey, there's going to be ebbs and flows with him. We say it every episode that we talk about him because we want to make sure that you guys at home or wherever you're listening to this as Mets fans, you understand that Kodai Senga is going to be very good, but it's going to be an adjustment period, and you're seeing it happen. I'm happy it's happening in April. Like that's a good sign at least.
Yeah, and this was worse early than he wound up settling in. Again, had this very much in position to win this game, similar to Jose Budo, who didn't exactly pitch great on Tuesday night, but also when he left the game, we still had opportunities to win it.
Yep. Your boy Brigham came in the game.
Yeah.
Dig up the run.
He did.
Dig up a run.
He
But
did.
again, like at the end of the day, the Mets lost this game 4-1.
Yeah.
You score 4 runs. That's like usually kind of like the bare minimum of what you need to score to win a game. So if you give up 4, that's like at that point, it's really more so on the offense not showing up.
For sure. And it's a little bit similar to what we're going to talk about from Thursday's game in a second. But when you're a Mets team who's only gotten 6 innings from their starting pitchers, I think 5 times so far this season, you kind of have to ask these bullpen guys to give you a little more. And when Jeff Brigham has to come out that second inning of work and face a lefty who is like a major league caliber hitter like Heimer Candelario, you only have so many weapons against that lefty. I mentioned the fact that he's been using that cutter. He debuted it on Sunday against the Giants as a weapon against lefties. He threw that one against Candelario. He couldn't get the called strike with it. Kind of sat at the top of the zone, almost got him. And then he wound up throwing 3 sweepers basically in the exact same spot. And the third of those 3, Candelario got his hands inside it and like just put it out.
Was it swing and miss or ball on the first one? Because I remember we were going through the sequence last night.
I think the first one might have been a called strike, then a foul ball, and then the home run.
Yeah, so it was like he saw it, almost got it, now I got it.
He ran out of pitches, he had to throw it.
It's going to happen.
I know.
It's going to happen.
It's whatever. And
listen,
it's okay. It's still Jeff Brigham's ERA still like 1.5.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. It's
Okay.
We don't get the full Brigham minute.
No.
Because, again, we did lose a series, so we got to be a little more relaxed. But
something that was cool, though, happened this game. Eduardo Escobar had a nice hard hit triple against a lefty. So the fact that Eduardo Escobar is like reacclimating now to this new role is kind of cool. The fact that he can spell Brett Baty against lefties and be a productive member of the offense is a very good thing.
And we've always said, like, his right-handed swing, we love when he faced lefties last year. We're like, oh, righty, lefty. Like, he does hit the ball significantly better, it seems like.
And we're kind of seemingly, we'll give all the flowers to Francisco Alvarez and Brett Baty when we break down Thursday's game. But the way that they're being used right now is kind of perfect, where Baty is playing most days a week except against lefties, and Alvarez is becoming something of the starting catcher with Nido spelling him for those few days. Always a Sanga game and usually one more.
Which, I mean, it's a good way, I think, to ease these guys in to a role that they'll eventually be able to take over, I think, pretty easily.
Totally. And this was brutal, though. When we lost this game on Wednesday nights, it was our first, this is the longest losing streak we've had since 2021.
Dang. Do we even know what was the losing streak? Do we know off the top of our head?
I mean, I feel like it was I think we probably had more than one that year, but I feel like that series against the Marlins in Miami, we probably had a game lost before or after.
Okay, yeah.
We got swept in Miami. That ended really kind of ended that season.
Just a little bit.
And that kind of felt like what that was.
Yeah, I mean, luckily, we did have the Knicks to really
totally
make this a
distract
little
us.
bit less hurtful. We got to see the Knicks move on to the Eastern Conference semifinals, right?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So, shout out Knicks fans out there.
And
real New York team.
And we were hanging out at our favorite bar in Midtown. Shout out Jack Dempsey's watching this game. And everyone kind of hung out because the Bucks were playing the Heat right after. And if the Heat would have won, they would have gone on too. And Jimmy Butler made a heroic play with no time on the clock after a 10-point comeback by the Heat and then a great overtime. And everyone was going ballistic watching this game. Yeah, except one ridiculous guy at the bar, this old guy who we wound up like learning his story. He works on Wall Street. He comes up to Midtown every single day after work to drink. And then he goes back at like midnight on the ferry all the way to like the
bottom of Staten
Tottenville,
Island,
which is right next to Perth Amboy for everyone out there who knows like where Jersey and Staten Island stuff is.
Crazy.
And our bartender was like, he does this every single day. I can't believe it. And little gambling talk, he had all his parlays that night had the Bucks in them. Yeah. And he watched that game. All the Knicks fans were going crazy around him, screaming, cheering, celebrating. And this guy watched every single bet lose at once while he was like sad at the bar every single day and about to take a ferry back to Staten Island.
For like 2 hours.
Yeah. A 2-hour commute like midnight.
He probably got hungover on that commute back. It's so long.
That guy definitely seems like someone who'd probably have a flask on hand.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, so that one made the loss a little bit better, at least in our eyes, because we could forget about it.
Yeah.
And going into game 3, which we were at today, as you know, we're filming this at Citi Field. Nice to be back at the stadium. First time in a very long time we've been here. Whoa, how many days has it been? Like 13, 12?
About, yeah, because it was that day game against the Padres.
Yeah.
That was a Thursday. So that was
feels like forever ago.
Yeah, that was forever ago.
It was a Wednesday.
It was Wednesday. Yeah, you're right.
That was the 12th, April 12th. So
we're
15 days.
Wow.
Over 2 weeks.
And that was a day game too, the 12th.
Yeah.
So we were out of here by like 5, 6 o'clock that day.
That's when we got here today.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's ridiculous. It's also just weird. I was talking to some people in the office today that the Mets had this long of a road trip this early in the season. Like I can't remember a time where we were this far out of Citi Field this early on.
No, I mean the Mets, I don't know now what the stat is, but before they started this series against the Nationals, they did play the least amount of games at home in Major League Baseball.
Okay.
I don't know where it stands now, but I'm sure they're probably still towards the bottom.
Yeah, just a 10-day road trip.
Yeah.
It's probably pretty rare for a team in April.
But yeah, so let's talk about game 3 now. Joey Lucchesi, Joey Fuego, friend of the podcast, of course, on the mound. Another just clap it up. Great start by Joey Lucchesi.
Yeah.
Couldn't go to 6th. Couldn't finish it.
I jinxed him.
Yeah, James, put your hand up for that one because we were watching the game and we're like, is Joey Lucchesi going to be the first guy to go 6 innings in 2 starts this year? And James was like, oh, he's got this. And like within minutes, he got taken out of the game.
I think the next pitch was a single. Then the rally began. It was all over. But you still got to give Joey his flowers.
For sure.
There was a little bit of a rally in the first inning. He threw over 20 pitches and he really settled in nicely. Gave us a chance to distance. He's been a godsend for what this rotation needs, just because from where this team was in like the middle of January, early February, we've lost 4 out of the 5 pitchers we expected to be in this rotation.
He's kind of taken like the Quintana role a little bit of like, it now feels like every 5 days we know we're going to get 5 out of him at least.
Well, it's ironic. He's kind of taken the guy we saw on the other side tonight, Trevor Williams' role, where he just kind of came up and he's just going to pitch and he's going to pitch. He's not really going to strike anybody out. He's not really going to look great doing it, but he's going to get everyone out and he's going to keep you in the game every single time he's out there.
100%. Now we can talk about the offense because there was no offense the first 2 games. Game 3, the bats were alive. There were so many hits and Brett Baty, Giving us that home run in the fourth inning was huge. And we were joking about it when we were sitting watching the game, and his OPS was on the screen, and it was
like 500.
5 or 600, something like that. And I was like, it's so crazy how when he hits a home run, like that will jump 150 points and it'll look great. And if you look at his numbers now to end the game.
At the end of the game, he was hitting after 3 hits, including a home run and a walk. Brett Baty raised his batting average to 321 and his OPS to 851.
Yeah.
So about 200-point raise in batting average and almost over a 300-point raise in OPS from one game where he got on base 4 times.
No, it was really, really good to see him hit like that. He looks really, really comfortable at the plate.
Yeah.
Like I think the Brett Baty we saw last year, we got sparks, right? We saw like some potential there. We saw the home run on his first at bat. Now Brett Baty looks like a Major League Baseball player.
And what did we tell you guys last episode? He's learning. You can see he had a big on base streak. I think he got on base 7 out of 8 games that he played in.
Shout out Jonny Stats.
Shout out Jonny Stats. This was his first 3-hit game of his career as well. And it's getting closer and closer and closer. And today he just popped off.
Yep. And he got on base 4 times.
Yep.
4 times. That's great from the bottom of the order for this team that's been very, very struggling at the bottom of the order.
Yes, and to flip that order over. Francisco Alvarez too. We'll talk about him in a second. Francisco Lindor also got to double down the line to extend our lead in, I think it was the 4th inning after the Bailey solo home run. His 600th RBI of his career as well as 601st. So shout out Francisco for that. This was his first really big game in about a week.
Yep.
Definitely needed it. I think he had 4 hard hit
He had
balls.
3 baseball savants saying.
3 hard hit balls, 2 doubles, 2. I think he also had 3 balls to the warning track as well in his 5 at bats.
Yeah, a couple of those balls, remember that got hit. We're like, how did that 102 one in the 8th?
Yeah, it was the 8th in the rally.
8th in the rally. Couldn't believe that ball didn't even get to the warning track because he smoked it. He looked like he thought he crushed it too. But you look at this lineup in this game, Nimmo had 4 hard hit balls, Marte had 2, Lindor had 3, Pete had 3. Every single person in the lineup that had an at-bat had a hard hit baseball.
Yep.
That's exactly what you want to do against the Nationals.
And a hit.
I didn't even notice that.
Yes.
Everybody had a hit as well. Yeah, I mean, what do we have? 16 hits, I think, on the night? 16, 17 hits?
And yeah, that's why it got very scary in this game in the middle innings, because the Nationals did really storm back and make us get really scared and nervous. The first time in the 6th inning, as we alluded to before, where Lucchesi couldn't get through that 6th inning, Tommy Hunter came in, and I think that's just a function of the fact that this bullpen's really been pushed to the edge.
Yeah, been taxed.
Not been a lot of length from starting pitching, so you bring in Tommy Hunter to get out of a jam, which is not necessarily his role. And the Nationals did get a couple inherited runners home, but it was okay. We got through that, and then Lindor hit his second double. It re-extended the lead. Then we got to the 8th inning, and I said Tommy Hunter came in the 6th, and he was still out there in the 8th because we needed some length out of a guy in that bullpen, and it happened to be him. And then
it didn't work.
It did not work at all.
Yeah, we tried to get the length, tried to push it. You can see it. There's a big series coming up against the Atlanta Braves, so you can kind of put the pieces together as to why this was happening. And if he could have given us that 3rd inning, really would have been huge, because then maybe you don't have to use Robertson.
Yeah.
Especially with Ottavino now on the paternity list. Like, the bullpen is a little bit shorthanded per se, especially with like our high leverage guys. It didn't end up working. Brooks Raley came in, I think hit a batter, and then CJ Abrams came to the plate, hand up. This one's on me.
Big jinx by Marc.
At the beginning of the game, I just go, I don't think CJ Abrams is going to be pretty good, huh? I was like, he might just not be good.
Even this at bat, I think you were like, oh yeah, like the bottom of the order's coming up.
Yep.
Yeah.
No. And then I looked at you. I said, here it is. I did it. I called Stone Garrett was going to have a big game before we started. I was like,
he had the huge warning track game.
Oh, huge warning track game. He was sending out warning shots. He was letting everybody know. Like, I mean, the dude's absolutely yoked. And John had a cool little stat for us that his dad was nicknamed Rock.
Yeah.
And that's why he's nicknamed Stone. His dad gave him that nickname. So good scoreboard work there, John. But yeah, CJ Abrams, it might be one of the hardest hit balls he's had in his career. Crushed it off Brooks Raley. 5-run 8th inning. All of a sudden, we're down. But this is a big narrative piece for us right here. We talked about this while it was happening.
Yeah.
Something happened when, Lindor made an error that inning too, and it seemed like something clicked in the Mets hitter's head. You had the middle of the order coming up, and they were like, we're not losing this game. Whatever just happened, doesn't matter. We're going to pick everybody up. We're going to make a big difference. Starling Marte got that single. Lindor hit the one that we thought was gone, and then Peak smoked a huge double to tie the game up.
And then Jeff McNeil hit a triple to take the lead. It felt like what happened in the bottom of the 8th inning might have been the most encouraging moment of Mets baseball this entire year.
Yeah.
Because you were staring down at getting swept by the worst team in your division. You were already lost 4 in a row. You're about to have lost 5 in a row with a 4-game set against your arch rival, the Atlanta Braves, coming up. And they just said, we're absolutely not going to lose this game. No. There's nothing you could do to make us lose this game.
Yeah, that was a big moment of like, okay, these guys got it. Like, these guys can handle the situation. They can handle the pressure. Like, it seemed like they took the reins into their own hands a little bit there of like, We're not losing, like you said.
No, they said this is absolutely unacceptable. And we're not going to let it happen. And it was cool because it was hot. Like that Marte hit was just a rope for a single, like for a second pitch of the inning. Lindor came up there, and it really everyone in the ballpark thought he hit a home run. It looked.
I think he thought it was a home run too.
And it was really. And then Marte stole the base before that. And this was a cool thing because since he stole second, that ball was hit really hard. He waited, he tagged, got to third base with just one out.
Yeah.
Which at the time when you're down 1 run, that's really important.
Huge.
We kind of blew it out of the water after that, so it didn't really matter as much. But everybody had their eyes on the prize there to try and do anything possible to win this game.
Yep. And Jeff McNeil with that triple off the spot that I said earlier.
Yeah.
Like in the game, I was like, man, that new right field really hasn't like played much of a difference at all this year, it seems like. And Jeff McNeil hits it off the wall on a ball that could have been caught, and I think might have been caught had the old dimensions been there. But because the wall is a little bit closer now, I think, who was it, Lane Thomas in right field? I think he felt the wall a little bit close, kind of just missed it. Didn't really seem like he knew where he was.
It also like hit the top of the wall. So that would have been a really, really crazy catch to make.
But I'm saying without that wall, that could be one that like he runs and catches and then runs into the wall kind of thing.
For sure. Another great stat here that John provided for us. That was the 7th career go-ahead hit by Jeff McNeil in the 8th inning or later in a game.
Dude's a friggin' beast.
He's clutch. And even like Jeff McNeil, where people were talking about him having not so good of a season the other day, he's now hitting 300 with an 833 OPS on the season.
I've been getting tagged on so many things because I always say Ozzy Albies is so overrated, the most overrated player in baseball.
He's blazing hot right now.
Yeah, I know he's blazing hot, but that's because you swing the bat right-handed. Let him swing lefty all day, and he doesn't do anything. But I was getting tagged in like you say Albies is overrated, and like putting his numbers next to McNeil's, and that was like from old numbers. It's like look at Jeff McNeil's now. Oh, he's back. He's back to being one of the best contact hitting players in baseball.
Also, a big thing that happened this game, we've mentioned it a few times, was the fact that Bailey and Alvarez, one were just in the lineup hitting 8th and 9th. And we talked about Bailey getting on base 4 times. Francisco Alvarez also got a base hit and drew a walk. Those
First
two guys,
walk of the season.
That's huge. Goes to getting on base 6 times from the 8th or 9th spot.
Huge.
That's ridiculous. Ridiculously efficient ability to turn the lineup over.
For spots that, relatively speaking, this year have been kind of automatic outs.
Yes.
So to be able to get any production and get elite production like we did tonight, you can see what it does to this entire lineup. It gets the wheels churning a little bit more. Brandon Nimmo comes up with guys on base, starting Marte, Francisco Lindor. This is why they're able to score 8 runs in a game, have 16 hits, is because the lineup is moving.
And 6 different guys in the lineup had an RBI. And it was every single hitter, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Every single guy had an RBI.
And like, yeah, it's the Nationals. We know like they're still not one of the good teams in baseball by any means. But the fact that like they were able to get these bats going, coming up into a big series against the Braves when it did look really, really bad coming into tonight. And at points tonight, we got very worried.
Yeah.
Really, really like nice. I think like a little bit of a deep breath of like, okay, all right, they're good. They got this. Big series next.
It's kind of just cleanses the mind.
Yes, for sure.
You can go into this game tomorrow now feeling okay. Like what happened those last 4 days, that sucked.
Yes,
we wish you were
Yeah.
another one of those games. Maybe in San Francisco, maybe at home against Nationals. You're in basically all of them. You really wish you would have got one of them, but you didn't. But you know what happened tonight? Everyone stepped up, picked each other up, and you had one of the best innings of the entire season.
100%. That's huge for the morale too. I think that's like a game you come into the locker room and you're pumped with the boys.
And the opposite of that, the same day the Braves actually blew a big lead in the 9th inning.
Yes, AJ Minter, who we will talk a little bit more about here, the Braves roster in a second. But AJ Minter has been falling apart at the seams, which has been
things you hate to see.
Yeah, things you hate to see. So before we talk about the Braves series, of course we have to do the estimate for this one. John, I believe you were keeping track. Who won the estimate this week?
Well, there were 7 total bases between Dominic Smith, who doubled. We knew that was going to happen,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I mean, how could that not happen?
It was a lock.
Yeah, well, between Dom, Pete Alonso, and Marc Canha.
Yeah.
So James is the champion for this
Victory.
episode.
I think that's, is that 4-2?
I think it's 4-2.
Yeah, 4-2, okay.
All right, still within striking distance. I mean, look, last year there was like a 6 or 7 game lead, if you would, and a great comeback. So keep it a close, Mark.
I'm a fighter.
That was before John started shaving points.
That never happened. There's no NBA referee scandal here. Anyways,
Johnny
now we
Hill.
move on to this Braves series. What were you saying, James?
I said Johnny Hill.
Johnny Donahue.
I don't want to talk about other sports right now, guys. You guys have your Knicks. I'm not a big Knick guy like that.
You're a traitor.
Self-proclaimed Nets fan.
I'm not
That's
a
big
traitor.
mistake.
I moved to Brooklyn. I have pride in my borough.
Everyone knows.
team did you-
Everyone knows that the Nets are defined by Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I'm also from New Jersey.
What team did you root for before you moved to Brooklyn?
So, all right, I texted my friend last night.
Wait, you're from New Jersey. How do you feel about this hockey series then?
That's
it's
messed up.
different. It's different. I don't need to explain myself to you. It's different. Yeah, no, I mean, look, I was a big Nick fan back in the day. Like, I texted my friend. He was like, yeah, cool. Did you see the game? I was like, yeah, man, but like, it's not the same without Iman Shumpert around, you know? It's just like...
We have Emmanuel quickly.
That's how I feel. Yeah, but I don't know.
10 times the player Iman Shumpert ever was.
Whatever.
It's also crazy how much you love college basketball. You wouldn't like be invigorated by a major Knicks series. The only thing you have is college basketball.
Yes, but I also have the Rangers right now. And,
That's true.
I mean, for now I do. It's, you know, by the time Saturday rolls around, it probably won't
Might
be
not
more.
be great, yeah.
No.
But anyway, I mean, maybe the Mets can keep my mind off of that as the Braves come into town. But there's also some storms apparently coming into town.
Brewing a little bit.
Yeah, so a little precipitation in the forecast. So here's the estimate for this week.
Okay.
We were going to do this, I think, last year for that last series in Atlanta
Yes.
when they were thinking about moving it, or there were all sorts of concoctions being thought of.
Forgot about that.
Then they just played the 3 games. I wish they didn't, but they did.
Great if they didn't.
And there was no rain. But this weekend's all looking good. We got a 93% chance of rain on Saturday, 94 on Sunday. We'll see what happens. So I want you guys to tell me how many innings of baseball will actually be played between the Mets and Braves this weekend. And keep in mind, if the Mets win, I guess that kind of shaves it. We'll count that 9th inning, obviously. It doesn't have to be a full inning.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
And if a game starts, just so there's rules, the ground rules are set, if a game starts and it gets banged before the 5th inning, we are going to count those innings as being played.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh.
I have my whiteboard in my backpack. I'm going to gather it.
Oh, I forgot the whiteboards.
So if it gets
carrying
bagged,
C
we're still
stands.
counting the innings. And if it's an official game, we're not giving it 9. We're just giving it the
No,
innings
yeah.
it
If
played.
it's a 5-inning game, then it's a
You have a
5-inning game.
whiteboard?
Yeah, brought my whiteboard.
I don't have a whiteboard.
You got
I left them upstairs.
That's all right.
I
All right.
messed up.
I'll shout it out loud.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah,
I like that.
I'll just shout it. James can write it.
I mean, you're helping the audio guys. You know, the people.
Yeah.
Of course.
Half the audience is just listening.
I think a lot more than half the
Definitely
audience.
more than half.
We met someone. Oh, did he give us his name?
He didn't give us his name.
He didn't give us his name, but we met someone today where we were sitting down the third base line, and we just picked a random spot, sat down, and the guy sitting next to us, I think he was a man. I don't know. I don't know what his age was. I have no
Neither.
clue.
I'm also not going to speculate.
No, I'm not going to speculate either. But you know who you are if you're listening to this. He didn't. When we sat down, he didn't say anything. But then me and James started talking like about baseball as we do when we're at the games, and he immediately like turned and was like, "I listen to you guys."
Yeah.
He's like, "I know who you guys are."
I follow you on Twitter.
So it's very funny to think. We forget sometimes they don't know what we look like. Ooh,
Oh, shout out Vito.
Fancy.
Okay, so we're going innings, just innings played. In the
Innings
series.
played.
Leave you
Mets
a little note
Braves.
here,
Round
Vito.
1.
It's innings.
Innings.
Let's go with.
James, why do you have a whiteboard in your bag?
I've just had one from doing content stuff, so I saw it today on my desk. I was like, I'm gonna bring it.
Smart. Yeah. I'm embarrassed that I didn't bring mine down.
And
but
you should be.
I am. I have 2.
You're lucky I have an iPad.
This is a great drawing.
And a
app.
pencil.
That's phenomenal.
I'd play with this all day.
I had played with that on the flight to Hawaii and back.
I would scribble. I'm a big doodler.
I downloaded a coloring app, and my fiance made fun of me for
Dad,
it.
no, that's awesome. Wow. I might get an iPad for that. That's amazing. James, big colorer?
No.
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 John, are you a big colorer?
I am. I color in my boxes when I score the game, and I love keeping my pencil inside the lines
What
when I
if
go all the
we
way around.
each got a picture of each other, and we had to color somebody else on
I'm in.
the show?
I mean, how many different colors we need to color pictures of each other?
I mean, look, everyone's just staying
It's like beige and brown. We all kind of.
I got blue
We
eyes.
all look basically the same.
I got blue eyes.
We're the same person.
You got your number, guy?
I do with my number.
All right, I got my number 2.
I might try to be a little jerk with this one.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Flip.
For those of you at home, mine says 27.
I did 31.
Ooh.
Mark's
31.
expecting the rain.
I'm thinking we're going to get 3 in. That's really where I'm at.
expecting we're going to try
Okay.
to play 4.
Okay.
Because this is the first of only 2 times
You are overreacting to
the
that,
Braves. No, I'm not overreacting because if usually when you have a divisional game and you realize you're gonna have more chances
Vito.
to make games up. This year with the new great MLB schedule, it's not gonna happen anymore. It's only one more time the Braves are coming here.
Yeah, but they're still coming here one more time. It's not like they're done.
I know, but even they're coming here one more time, how many games can you conceive? 1 maybe.
Yeah, 1. Exactly.
I don't
That's why
know.
they can cancel it. 27. Lock it in.
I kind of like where Mark's thinking.
Yeah.
I'm doing 31 because I really think you're gonna try and get a 4th game in.
All right. We'll see. We'll see what the weather does.
And
like we said,
again, next time the Braves are coming here,
It's in August.
is
August
it?
5th.
No,
No, it's a little
August
later.
11th, 12th, 13th.
Ooh.
Another
Mets have a
weekend.
day off before.
Okay.
The Braves don't. The Braves are in Pittsburgh before that trip.
That might be a Sunday night baseball game, maybe.
It's not. It's listed 140 right now.
Could be
Yeah, but
flex,
it could
though.
be flexed
Could be
because the
flexed.
Pirates are playing good ball.
Oh, no. The Pirate Braves game is a Thursday.
Oh, I thought it was Sunday.
Then the Braves come to New York.
Sunday.
Oh, gotcha.
The Braves Met game could be a Sunday night
definitely
game
be a
that
Sunday
weekend.
night baseball game.
Probably should be.
Probably.
Yeah.
I really, honestly,
Hopefully.
I really hope it's a Sunday night baseball game. That means
we're doing Mets Up After Dark again.
Hey,
we can curse.
love Messed Up After Dark. Last year we did so many Messed Up After Darks. This is only the first one this year.
This is the first.
Fun.
I mean, it is. I mean, it's like 3 weeks into the season as well. So
I guess, yeah,
it's
but
kind
still.
of part of it. But
Yeah.
shall we preview this Brave series?
Yeah, we might as well. Also, I guess before we do Brave series, just shout out the fact that new patch.
Yeah.
New patch looked amazing this
New
week.
patch did look really
Yeah,
good.
really cool that the team just totally quickly, efficiently responded to concerns from fans.
Yeah, the blue and orange definitely looks a lot better.
And much tighter.
Much tighter, much smaller. Fits the jersey a lot better. So shout out to New York Presbyterian for coming through and getting the fix.
There you go. No free ads, but I guess they're not.
I mean, we work with the team.
That's what I mean.
so,
Yeah, not a free ad.
Yeah, it doesn't go to us, but
No, it goes somebody.
All right, let's talk about the Braves here.
Yeah.
One of the best teams in baseball. You
Yep.
guys know them well. They are 17-8, I believe, is
They
the record that I have for them
are-
if it's updated on Baseball Savant.
Yeah, maybe. I'm
But
sure it is.
17-8, they just blew a game against the
17-9.
17-9. Okay, just blew a game against the Marlins tonight, which is great because, as we mentioned, AJ Minter is falling apart, which is awesome to hear because their bullpen is definitely probably their shakiest thing on their entire team.
Also, could we shout out to the fact that we beat the Marlins? I think it was 2 out of 5 out of 7 games, right? And now they're 13-13.
Yeah,
So they're 11-6 against the rest. I'm doing bad math right now. 11-8 against the rest of the league.
I guess. Yeah, they're a decent team. John called it.
At what point are you going to say
Never.
my favorite words? You were right.
No, never.
Oh my God, it's April 27th.
I understand that. All I said is they're going to be plucky. It's all I said. And maybe win 80 games. That's all I said.
I heard you say they were going to be good.
I
think I heard that too.
Check the text. I never said that.
Check the tapes.
I never said that.
I heard you
I-
say it
the
in
tapes.
person.
No, I never said
I
that.
could name the model car we were in.
What was it? Tell me right now.
It was the Nissan boat.
No. And if I did, I don't think I'm wrong. So,
Vito's a car guy.
I mean, are you the one that said the Oakland A's would be better than the Nationals this year?
Yeah, James did
That's
say
not
that.
over. That's not over.
I'm pretty sure that's
Yeah,
over.
not over.
After what I've seen the last 2 weeks, I think it's over.
Nationals
see.
did
We'll
just take 2 from the Mets.
We'll see. All
All right.
Long way to go.
But yeah,
It's April.
back to the Braves.
Sure.
Phillies were under 500 in June last year.
It's true. That's a good point. Back to the Braves, though. Their bullpen's definitely their weak spot. I think if there's anywhere you can attack them, that would be it. Although they do have some arms that are interesting, like Nick Anderson is interesting to me because he's probably still really good. And they have Kirby Yates, who's probably still pretty good, too.
Nick Anderson has not been great this year. He was pitching very well, but he just had a blow up, I think, earlier this week.
Okay.
But he's still striking guys out and not really walking anybody.
Yeah. Of course, we'll see the old man, the crypt keeper, Jesse Chavez.
He's going to throw such an annoying inning.
He's going to throw
no doubt.
only sliders and cutters. And
Colin McHugh's going to shut us down for an inning, no doubt.
But that being said, I think we're gonna be okay. Who are our pitching matchups? I guess we're getting 4. So whoever didn't pitch today,
I'm loading them up right now.
Yeah.
So
You got Freed tomorrow for the Braves, which
Freed
is always
tomorrow.
fun.
We weirdly have hit Fried okay at times, but I feel like that's just Max Fried. He's having a phenomenal start to the year. He's given up like a run, I think, in 15
the
innings.
matchups listed right now on ESPN will be Friday night, 7 o'clock, Citi Field, David Peterson versus Max Fried, so battle of the lefties. Saturday afternoon, the Fox 4 p.m. game, one of the most fun game times to be at Citi Field by far. It's just nothing better than a 4 p.m. game. Tyler McGill versus everyone's favorite mustache, Spencer Strider.
Loser.
And then Sunday, 1:40, Jose Budo versus Charlie Morton. And then Monday, 1 o'clock, Monday matinee. Weird series ending on a Monday. Happens very rarely, but it's going to happen twice in the next 2 weeks for the Mets. Jose Budo versus Kodai Senga versus Bryce Elder.
I thought Max Scherzer was going to come in.
Oh, I guess he probably should, right?
Yeah, I think that was the whole thing. Was the
ends Sunday,
suspension.
right? Or Monday?
Sunday or
Monday. But now, what if one of those games get rained out? They didn't play a game. Does that mean he's no longer eligible?
Yeah, he can't. Yeah, so he needs the games to be played because it is a game suspension, not a day suspension.
Yeah, he's not listed here, but I guess then he'll
Theoretically, probably can't list him yet because he's technically
Still suspended.
Yeah, so he's not technically on the roster right
and
now.
yeah, I would like to see Max Scherzer because we're getting the Braves 3 best starting pitchers Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Tell me about Charlie Morton. Is he like back or is he
He's
just
not back, but he's still fine. He's not the Charlie Morton of old. What's going on with Charlie Morton is that as he continues to age, his fastball keeps losing juice, which is expected, but his curveball really is what's losing right now. He's got less break and less spin than ever has in his career. He's still pitching fine. His ERA is in the 2s. Like, he's definitely pitching. He's like outrunning his estimators. He's got a K rate that's lower than it has been like since he got good. Whenever that was, like 2017 again, when that time he broke back out as like a 35-year-old. That just happens to guys in the Houston Astros. But he's someone who we probably could hit, but he's still just a wily vet.
And obviously, offensively speaking, they mash.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah,
They mash.
What can we say about that?
Sean Murphy mashes. Matt Olson mashes. Ozzie Albies is mashing right now. Austin Riley mashes. Sam Hilliard, a name you guys might not necessarily be familiar with, came over from the Rockies, was always like a very toolsy player.
Yeah.
Looks like he might have figured it out in Atlanta because of course he did. He's mashing, and Ronald Acuna Jr. is like so back, it's crazy.
Ronald Acuna Jr. I think has 13 stolen bases already this season.
Yeah, 13 for 15 this year.
It's more than multiple teams.
Walked almost more than he struck out this year. 15 walks to 17 strikeouts. Not necessarily hitting for like crazy power numbers just yet, but 10-18 OPS on the year. Sign me up any day of the week.
Yeah, we're also probably going to see a former friend, Kevin Pillar, in the series. He has been getting a lot of run for the Braves as a corner outfielder, which is interesting, but they're making it work.
And Vaughn Grissom, right? He's their shortstop again?
Yeah, Stonehand Grissom.
Stonehand Grissom.
He actually hasn't been a bad shortstop so far this season, and he's hitting, which he's always going to hit. But yeah, I feel like they're kind of working themselves to a point where they want to get him probably to an corner outfield spot.
Probably, yeah. And Marcell Ozuna's not really playing, so.
Yeah, well, he stinks, and he shouldn't be in the league anyway.
Yeah.
As you guys know.
Struggle bus. But it's going to be a tough series. Braves are very, very good. I think this will be a really good test to see where the Mets line up right now. Just on, like, one having a little bit of a weird skid that just happened, but we did have a good offensive game, and the Braves are one of the best teams in baseball. We knew this coming into the season. We expected these series to be big. It's kind of crazy because it's April, and like you said, with the new schedule, these games mean more now than ever. But it's an important series.
This is also big because after this Braves series, the Mets go Detroit, Colorado, Cincinnati, Washington.
That's a good stretch.
So it gets light after this. So you really want to win a couple games against the Braves and really start to like bank those wins.
This is like the exact opposite of last year.
Yeah.
It's like we had the easy going into the Braves.
Yeah.
Didn't do so well.
No, and I think this series, especially Friday and Saturday, are going to be really, really, really important for David Peterson and Tyler McGill.
Yes.
Because those guys are each coming off probably their worst starts of the season. We really need length. The bullpen's really been taxed right now. And Adam Ottavino is not going to be here. Justin Verlander's not here yet. Max Scherzer's, there's a good chance he doesn't get to pitch in this series because what we just mentioned about suspension. We need length out of those guys. We need effectiveness. And we need some efficiency.
No, 100%. But I'm really excited. It's like good to have like some really, really meaningful baseball on April 28th to May 1st.
Yeah.
Should be a lot of fun. Super excited for the series. I don't think there's anything else to talk about, is there?
No, I think we got it.
All right, these
guys.
nicknames that they were calling me online.
Oh,
read
yes,
the
John.
review.
Good
I
one.
was going to
Thank
look
you.
him up, and I was like, you know what? I want to hear him live.
Johnny Vanity.
Oh, no, John, you're going to love them. You're going to love
I'm
them. They're going to
sure.
bring back some memories. So
hear
shout
'em.
out to Nadia FS is her
Nadia.
name, I guess. Nadia, I guess. I don't know.
Nadia.
I listened every episode of the podcast since March 2021. I really think it's the best Mets podcast out there. You think, you know, it's the best Mets
Nadia
podcast out
knows.
there. Marc and James are very knowledgeable, entertaining, have great chemistry. John has also been a great addition. You guys should see his head right now. It's getting so big. And Estimate is awesome. Speaking of Jonny Stats, it would be fun to go back and make a list of every single nickname Marc and James have lovingly given John over the last few months. And there's a ton. Get it started with the classic, Jonny Stats. That was the first one ever given. Johnny Jamaica, a little more new. Johnny Numbers. Johnny Linens.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Shout out Italy.
Johnny Cuts. When he was getting the haircuts.
Yeah,
Johnny
Johnny
Cuts.
Cuts.
Johnny Threads. That was also, I think, with the linen shirt as well. You got Johnny Frats, because Frat Star, of course.
Yeah.
Johnny Greek is part of that as well.
Yeah.
Johnny Buns. That was with the rally bun.
Oh, yeah.
Remember the rally bun?
Remember I ate that thing?
Yeah.
Take a
Oh,
bite out
you
of
did
that.
eat that. That's
Tried to
disgusting.
save the season.
Johnny Gluten. I think that was also with the bun. Johnny Fax. Johnny Kirkgin. Johnny Lentils.
Johnny Lentils, I remember. I don't
Yeah.
remember Kirkgin, but okay.
Johnny Optimism.
Well, that's
not true.
irony. What the, you guys
Yeah.
call me that?
Johnny Words.
Johnny Words.
Johnny Lasagna. Johnny Napkins.
What?
Johnny Buckner. Johnny
yeah.
Five Hole.
Yeah.
There's more.
Oh, no,
Should I-
that's
should I
a
keep-
cheap shot.
I mean, I don't know. You went 5-hold on cable television.
Yeah, I know. I wish Ildemaro Vargas was still a national. He was short hopping me all damn day.
Even piece of your mind.
Yeah, but he's gone now.
Johnny Balls, Johnny Scampers, Johnny Longlegs, Johnny Vulgarity.
This really goes on.
Johnny Fairweather, Johnny Truffles.
Johnny Fairweather. I guess I am a Fairweather Nets fan.
Yeah,
I
you
like
are.
Johnny Truffles.
Johnny Truffles was a good one. Johnny Bahama.
Yeah.
Johnny Daps, of course. Johnny Brooklyn, Johnny Hats, Johnny Lids, Johnny Brackets, Johnny Makeup, Johnny Blush, and that's it. Thanks for providing consistent entertainment after every series. Nadia FS, Thank you so much. We appreciate you.
And guys, keep giving us more reviews. We'll shout out any ones that make us laugh.
Especially
ones that make fun of John.
Yeah, we encourage them. But
Yeah.
I do want to add in Johnny Locks from when he put the locks.
Johnny Locks.
That's a
Yeah.
big miss
That's
by
classic,
Nadia.
yeah.
Nadia, come on.
LOX.
That's like
LOX.
that's my persona. Smoked
Yeah.
salmon. That's
So
what
much.
I do.
I'll still never forget the day at Old Timers Day, getting ready to interview everyone, and they have the breakfast spread out,
Oh my
and we're
God.
wrapping up. And John, I've never seen so much lox on a plate or in someone's mouth in my life.
I think John did the thing where he had a fork each in his right hand and his left hand.
And
So we
we
can
just-
eat as much smoked salmon as possible in as little time.
Feeling big cheeks on that one. So
Yeah.
Johnny Locks, can't forget that one.
And Cranepool went home hungry that day.
Great
That's your forever, man.
Legendary. But guys,
shout out Don LaGreca.
thank you so much for listening and watching this episode. We're having some fun. It's Mets'd Up at night. We can curse.
Messed up after dark.
Mets'd Up after dark. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Follow us on all our social media at Mets'd Up, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Subscribe to the New York Mets YouTube channel to see the YouTube versions. You heard about where to listen to us already. Follow James on Twitter at
James_Shiano.
Follow me at Giraffe Neck Marc with a C. Thank you guys for listening and watching, and we'll catch you after the Brave series, hopefully for like a really positive one. That would be great.
Or at least a neutral one.
Or yeah, neutral. See you guys.
See you guys next time.